Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Paul here, Razorback Piper guy, coming to you from my garage slash reloading room today. And as I'm talking, I'm learning something here. Ring lights and eyeglasses don't really mix. That looks kind of weird, but we're going to power through this video. What I want to talk to you about is hunting rifles and different levels, different entry points, and are they worth it? Look, I am always looking for a good bang for my buck, no pun intended, and I know that a lot of folks are too. So I have 3 deer rifles here. I'm going to show you, talk to you a little bit about, and they're at different price points. One is a very basic entry-level rifle. One is what I consider a mid-tier rifle, and then one is a little nicer rifle. Now, that is going to be subjective. Different folks have different budgets, and what I consider an upper tier rifle may be somebody else's entry-level rifle, and that's okay. But these are 3 different price points, and I'm going to talk about the pros, the cons. Are they worth it? Would I buy them again? All right. So first up, we're going to talk about the more budget-friendly option. Now, I bought this rifle. Arkansas went to away from muzzleloaders. They didn't go away from them, but they changed muzzleloader season to alternative firearm season. You could use straight-walled cartridges. So I went and I bought this rifle. Didn't have a whole lot of money to spare at the time, had a lot going on. So I got a budget rifle. Now, all the rifles I'm going to show you are bone stock. I haven't done anything to them except for this one, and it's just cosmetic. I did paint the stock, but this first rifle is a Mossberg Patriot. This rifle is in .350 Legend, and it is the definition of a budget rifle. I believe, if I recall correctly, I got it about 2 years ago, and I think I paid out the door less than $400. And that was with a scope. It was one of the combo packages. Now, I have since replaced the scope, but it's still a pretty budget-friendly scope. This is a Bushnell Banner from Dusk to Dawn. It's like an $80 scope. So this is a budget rig all day long. So what's good and bad about it? We'll go through the bad first. I want to end it on a good note because it does have some, it's got some things I wish were different, but it's got some good features too. The first thing that I will say negative is I hate the safety. It is a 2-position safety, and it does not lock the bolt when it's on safe. That is huge for me. I'll show you. It's on safety now. Or no, there we go. We're on safe, and I can take this rifle on safety and just unclasp the bolt, and the bolt just drops. And it's not just a theoretical issue. I have been walking through the woods with this on the sling, and the bolt come loose, and I'm looking around on the ground for a shell that ejected out of it. That is my biggest negative on this rifle. And look, that don't mean it's not worth it. That don't mean it's not a good buy if you're on a tight budget. When you've got $400 to spend on a rifle, you're going to give up some things. That's just how life works. So, but that's the biggest negative to me about this rifle. The other one is a preference thing. This magazine, it's got a detachable box magazine, and it's just cheap plastic, and the fit's not great. It rattles around a little bit. When you're carrying it, you can just feel it and tell it's there if you're carrying your rifle under here. That's not my favorite. I would definitely change that if I could to either a better system or a hinged floor plate with an internal magazine is actually what I prefer. So that's the main negatives. Now, there's other things, but like I said, when you got $400 and you want a rifle ready to hunt, you're going to give up some stuff. The stock is nothing. It is a cheap plastic stock. And for that price point, that's just what you're just going to have to live with, some of that stuff. But there are also some really good features about this rifle. The bolt is fluted. I like that. The barrel is also fluted. Just noticing that in the camera. I hope that's dirt and not a mar on the finish there. But fluted barrel, fluted bolt. Another thing I would put in the positive category is that price point we talked about. I walked out of the gun shop with this rifle with albeit a cheap scope. It had a scope that held 0. The first deer I shot with this rifle had the package scope that came on it. Probably a $50 scope. And it worked. Now, how long it would have lasted, I don't know. It sucked in low light conditions, which is why I went with the Dusk to Dawn. But I wanted to keep this a budget-friendly rig, and I did. And the other and most important positive, the thing flat out shoots. It is accurate. It's got a really nice trigger. It's got that Savage style trigger. It's a really nice trigger. And like I said, the darn thing's accurate. I mean, it'll stack bullets inch and a half with no issues whatsoever. So is it worth it? Well, hell, it was under $400 with a scope on it and it shoots good. Yeah, it was worth it. I think I paid, it was like $385 out the door. So absolutely worth it. Would I buy it again? That I don't know. I may, if I had it to do over, take a closer look at the Break Action CVAs. What do they call those? The Scouts. I might take a look at a CVA Scout. They're really well made, in about the same price range. It's a single shot, but I may take a look at that one. But if you are on a tight budget, and my father has one of these as well in 30-06, and it shoots good too. So for $400, is it a super nice rifle? No, it's not. But the thing shoots good, and it's done the job. The next one, what I consider a mid-tier, is this rifle here. This is a Weatherby Vanguard. This rifle's chambered in 30-06, and I've had it for right at 20 years. I think, matter of fact, almost exactly, I think I might have bought this in 06 or 07. So this one is a step up a little bit in price, but I will tell you, it's a big step up everywhere else. It's got a pretty good trigger. Well, we'll talk about the negatives first. That's what we're going to do, so we end it on a good note. And y'all don't laugh at me. I'm missing a scope cap up here. I left it at the range, so I've got to find a Leupold scope cap to go on here. So the negatives first. This son of a gun's heavy. It just is. It's a heavy rifle. I didn't weigh them. I didn't pull out a scale and weigh them, but the darn thing's heavy. And also, it's not my favorite as far as ergonomics go. The grip is a little thick for my comfort level. It's just, it's not the perfect grip. We're splitting hairs, I know. But I've actually considered getting a chassis from MDT. They make one that's for field use. It's not like a bench rest chassis. It's made for field use. I have considered looking at one of those. Simply, the ergonomics of the stock is not ideal. That's really the only two negatives I can say about this rifle. I complained about the safety on that Mossberg. This one also has a 2-position safety. Okay, now I prefer a 3-position. But we can't have it all. But the good thing about this one is when it is on safe, the bolt's locked. You're not going to walk through the woods and this bolt open. Bolt's locked, take it off safety, bolt's open. That is much better. If I can't have a 3-position, I would much rather have one that locked than doesn't lock. So I like that. Also, no box magazine. We have a hinged floor plate and an internal magazine. That is what I prefer. So it has that and it works well. What else do I like about this rifle? The darn thing is an absolute tack driver. I have never found a factory load or a hand load that this wouldn't shoot well. I think if I could whittle a rock down small enough to fit in a 30-06 case, this thing would shoot it. I've tried different powders, different bullets, different weights of bullets. It shoots everything I feed it. When you buy a Weatherby, they come with a target. And I actually, believe it or not, found this rifle on sale at Walmart. And I asked him if they had it in 30-06. He looked in his computer and said, we've got 3 of them. And I said, well, bring them all 3 out. Because they all come with that target. I wanted to see the target in them. And they're all, if they're not under an inch, Weatherby wouldn't put it on the shelf. But there were one where they were just stacked. They were touching. It was a clover leaf. And so that's the one I got. And it's, like I said, it's way more accurate than me. I've killed a bunch of deer with it, and I love it. I think that covers the good and the bad. The trigger's pretty good. You know, is it worth it? Absolutely. You can still get these for under $600, which puts it for me in that mid-tier. You know, I think it's way better than other things in that price range. The Ruger Americans, the CVA Cascade. Now, I've never handled and shot a CVA Cascade, and I know they get rave reviews, so it might be right up here with this one. But like the Ruger Americans are, you know, they used to be a budget rifle, and now I don't consider them a budget rifle. I mean, they're that mid-tier. You're gonna pay, you know, $600 or so for most of them. So this one, I think, is one of the best values, period. No matter what price range you're talking about, I think Weatherby Vanguards are one of the best values on the market. And would I buy it again every single day and twice on Sundays? Fantastic rifle. My next rifle is probably going to be another Vanguard. I want a 308 that I can suppress, and the Vanguard makes a line called the Obsidian, and it comes with a threaded barrel. And if I had to guess right now, that's probably going to be my next firearm. So yeah. I'm a huge Weatherby Vanguard fan. Now the last one, we're gonna step up again. This one is a Browning X-Bolt. It's a Browning X-Bolt Hunter. This one's chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. I just bought this rifle a few months ago, and I am loving it so far. I've been playing with it, tinkering with loads, developing some loads for it. I haven't actually bought a nice scope for it yet. This is, you talk about lipstick on a pig. The scope that's on this X-Bolt is the crappy piece of junk that came on that Mossberg when I bought it. But like I said, it holds 0 and it's been fine at the range so far. But it will wear a much nicer scope than this by the time deer season rolls around. So, when we're talking about negatives first, there's just not many for me with this rifle. I love it. It's everything I wanted it to be. There's only 2 things that I can think of. One, this one does have a threaded barrel. It's got the break with a threaded barrel. I do want to suppress it. And one of the negatives is Browning's threads are proprietary. So they do not use the standard thread that everybody else uses. So I will have to buy an adapter to go on the end of the barrel, and then so the suppressor could hit. Not a huge deal. The adapter's not, I mean, it's not something that's super expensive. I think you can get it for 30 or 40 bucks. But that is one negative. They use proprietary threads. And the other negative, and it may not even be a negative if you don't want to modify anything, there's not a lot of aftermarket support for Browning X-Bolts. If you want to put one in a chassis or get a different stock, there's not a whole lot of options out there. That's literally it. This rifle is as close to perfect for me. Again, we're talking subjective. As it's definitely the most perfect one I've ever owned. I've always wanted a Browning X-Bolt, and you know, didn't want to cough up between $900 and $1,100 for one. And I found a good deal. Found a sale. The X-Bolt 2s were coming out, and store ran a sale on these for a really good price, and then Browning was offering a $100 rebate as well. So I got this firearm way cheaper than I thought I would ever get one, so I couldn't turn it down. The problem, the only caliber they had available was 6.5 Creed. My first choice would have been 308. Like I told you, I want to suppress one. They didn't have any left. I looked online all over the place trying to find one, but don't have anything against 6.5 Creed, and I've always wanted the X-Bolt, and the price was so good I jumped on it. Now the positives about this rifle, there's a lot of them. I'm gonna start with the safety because that's what I've been whining about those other two. So it is technically a 2-position safety. On fire, you can work the bolt. On safe, you can't work the bolt. So it's technically a 2-position. However, there's a little button on the top of the bolt with it on safety. You can push that button and open the bolt. This safety design is as perfect as I've ever seen. I love it, and it works great. Speaking of the bolt, the other positive for this is a 60-degree bolt throw. That's as high as the bolt goes. So if you want to put a bigger scope on there, you'll have no problem whatsoever with clearance. You know, people talk about quicker follow-up shots. I don't worry about that. Put the first one where it needs to go, and you won't have to worry about that. But I do love that 60-degree bolt throw. The action is smooth as butter. The trigger, now I have heard good and bad. I've heard some people, you know, rave about the trigger on their X-Bolt, and I've heard some people online talking about their trigger wasn't great. This one's pretty darn good. I do want to take it apart. I watched a video on it today on how to adjust it, and I do want to do that and take it down. You can adjust it down to 3 pounds, but it breaks really crisp. There's no take up. There's no play in it. There's no roughness. It's a good trigger. I just want to adjust it down to that 3-pound mark. The magazine. So this one does have a box magazine, and typically that is not what I like. I told you with the Vanguard, my preference is an internal magazine with a floor plate. But I will say, the difference in this box magazine and the box magazine on that Mossberg is night and day. You can probably tell by me just holding it up there, right? Hold it up like that, you can't even tell it is a box magazine. If you carry it in the woods like that, it doesn't stick out. You don't even know it. So if I'm gonna have a box magazine, this is the best one that I've seen. The thing is pretty darn accurate so far. I've worked up a load with Varget and 130 grain Sierra, and I shot a 10-shot group and about a quarter-size hole, and then of course one flyer about 1.5 inches to the left, which was me. And if you do a lot of load development and do hand loads, you know how frustrating that is. But it's pretty darn accurate with most things that I've tried. I complained a little bit about the ergonomics of the Vanguard. This one is, I mean, it is just, it's perfect. You can tell how much I love this rifle and how excited I am to have it. So, is it worth it? Absolutely. It was certainly worth it for me because I paid about half what you would normally pay for one with that sale. And, but I will tell you this, if it was full price, I would still say it's worth it. It's a fantastic rifle. It's also completely free floated and bedded from the factory, which helps with that accuracy. And I really, really love this rifle. So there you go, guys. Would I buy it again? Yeah, I'd buy it again. Absolutely. So I hope that helps if you're looking to, in the market for a rifle, if you're looking to buy one. There's nothing wrong with any price point. There's a place for everything. And look, that's the most high-end rifle I have. I don't have any custom rifles or any, you know, really high-grade wood-stocked hunting rifles. But, you know, those do the trick. And, you know, I've been at the point in life where I could buy whatever I wanted within reason. And I've been at the point in life when I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. So you got to look for those bargains. You got to look for those entry-level things. There's nothing wrong with any of it. They all will get the job done. So I hope that helps you. Just wanted to point out the differences in those three different levels of rifles. Probably going to be doing some more gun stuff. I know that this channel was about pipe smoking mostly, and it still is. We're going to, you know, that's still going to be the main focus. But I've been on a kick here lately, back and forth from the loading bench to the range, tinkering with stuff, and I'm ate up with this stuff right now. All right, guys. Wanted to do that quick video. I'll talk to y'all next time. Until then, guys, go forth and do good.